Hey, MarkGrant here from SomeRaiders with a review of Operencia the Stolen Sun. Made by Zen Studios, it was released the 29th of March 2019 on the Epic Games Store for PC, as well as an Xbox Play Anywhere title, where you can play it on either Xbox or the Microsoft Store for PC. This game is a 3D first-person grid-based puzzle dungeon crawler RPG with a turn-based combat system. If anyone watching are fans of this particular genre, then they would have already figured out from the description that Operencia is basically a turn-based remake of The Legend of Grimrock, an indie dungeon crawler from 2012 that was also based on the 1987 game Dungeon Master. Personally, I'm a bit of a virgin to this genre, or more accurately, a born-again virgin, as it's been so long since my last turn-based RPG that I've spent most of my time flailing about not knowing what to do. In saying that, I loved this game. It was fun, had soothing music, looked great, the voice acting had a fun comedic dialogue, and the plot was engaging. Speaking of plot, Operencia was very straightforward. You are an ordinary farmer who has a dream that you must travel to a sunken castle where you will encounter a future party member, rescue some damsels in distress, encounter more future party members, and embark on an adventure to find the missing Sun King. While the plot is nothing groundbreaking, the developers do a great job of capturing your interest, with the witty voiced banter between party members, and skippable dialogue whenever you reach a save point, which provides the game with more world building and origin stories of your companions. Now moving on to gameplay. There are 3 difficulty parameters you need to choose at the start. The basic rundown is whether you want to enable the game map, enable autosave as the game progresses, or enable permadeath if all party members die. You can then customize your hero, choosing between warrior, hunter, or mage, and then assigning your preferred buffs, attribute points, and abilities. In respect to the RPG element, you have 5 attributes to choose from which can customize your class into roles such as melee, range, mage, and tank. Although the attribute system isn't too complicated, there is a small degree of freedom. For instance, my hunter strongly leaned towards poison abilities, and turned more into a rogue than a range class. Moving on to the actual combat, we have a very straightforward turn-based party system. The far left shows the upcoming turns, and the far right shows your party, which can have a maximum of 4 members. The enemies can be positioned on 3 different lines of combat, which determine the effectiveness of most of your abilities, such as melee attacks may be more effective at close range. Each character has 9 abilities. The first 3 are your basic melee, range, and defense, while the other 3 can be customized as you level up and have a variety of different skills, energy costs, elemental types, and cooldowns. The enemies were also well done. Each level had a theme and its own unique monsters with attributes and abilities to make them stand out. For example, if you battle skeletons, they would be immune to poison and sleep abilities, or giant spiders would consume their own injured allies to heal themselves and power up. This gave the game a strategic edge, where you could customize your abilities before engaging, or you could just wing it and fight with your already set abilities. The last main aspect of the game are the puzzles. As with all puzzles, these were both enjoyable and hair-pullingly frustrating. You could look at a puzzle and figure it out within the first 30 seconds, or you could be completely lost and backtrack throughout the whole map for the next hour, wondering what are you even doing with your life, and resisting the urge to look up a walkthrough video on YouTube. Overall, the puzzles varied in difficulty, from just picking up an object and flicking a lever, to more complicated puzzles like walking a particular path and arranging the room in a unique pattern. The game had a lot of positives. It was a relaxing game that didn't take itself too seriously, had about 30 hours of gameplay, plus a few extra hours if you wanted to 100% the map and unlock all the secrets. The graphics and music really embraced the fantasy element of the game. The combat was fun, simple, but also a nice combination of status and control effects. The negatives of the game is the tutorial, which was too sudden, and instead of easing you into the game, it instantly gave you 2 characters with all 9 abilities unlocked. Some of the voice acting also came across as a tad flat, and either lacked emotion or didn't match up with the dialogue. The grid movement was also hard to grasp at times. It was fine with tight areas and restricted paths, but when I encountered open areas, I found myself walking at awkward angles and accidentally walking around in a circle. Lastly, the combat was just missing a spark to make it really stand out. While the monsters and abilities looked cool, the monsters didn't have much motion and would just sway side to side. The sound effects were also off. When I was at those final win or lose moments, the abilities and sounds just didn't produce any heart-pounding moments of excitement and panic. Long story short, I thoroughly enjoyed Operencia. It was a great game for the price tag, and I would recommend you try it if this review appealed to you.